Hello, welcome to this lecture on transport layer. In this lecture, we will discuss about the functionalities of the transport layer, basic concept of transport layer, and the connection management issues of the in the transport layer. So, in OSI model, there are 7 layers: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. This transport layer is the fourth layer of the OSI model. Actually, the upper 3 layers of the OSI model, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer are the higher OSI layers, and the lower 3 layers such as physical layer, data link layer, and network layer are lower OSI layers. This transport layer work as a mediator between upper OSI layer and lower OSI layers. Due to this, due to the functionalities of the transport layer, upper OSI layers are unaware of the complicacy of the intricacy of the lower OSI layers. For example, you can in transport layer you think about that there is end-to-end connection of two computing devices which are connected through internet. Internet may be made up of several lines, wires, and mains, and maybe some part of it you can assume that is made up of Ethernet, or some part of it is made up of token ring, etc. And you are sending some messages from one computer to another computer, then in some part of it maybe it is required that your message is of large size, and it need to be divided into smaller segments, smaller usable blocks, and because the network layer does not support the that much size of the message. This process is called segmentation, and sometimes it is we find that the network bandwidth is high, but the user is sending data of very small sizes. So, we can merge the several such messages into one single frame and send that, but the actually the upper layer are unaware of these complications, that what is going to be done. In fact, the at the other end, receiver want to see that what message has been sent, that is exactly received by that one. So, due to this transport layer, we achieve this transparency, that as already we have discussed, the upper layers, the individual physical network are simple homogeneous cloud that takes data and deliver it to the destination safe and sound. So, and this is achieved because of the transport layer. So, transport layer is basically responsible for source to destination delivery of the entire message. Here it is process to process communication, and it is in order delivery. Basically, if a message suppose have 10 packets, such packets, then it ensures that all the 10 packets have been received at the receiver end, and in the it has been arranged in the same sequence as it has been it was in at the sender side. So, it ensures this. So, what are the main responsibilities of the transport layer? So, main responsibilities of the transport layer are it can be divided into the 5 major categories. First one is end to end delivery, and then addressing, then third one is reliable delivery, flow control, and multiplexing. So, end to end delivery, first we will discuss about, we have discussed about end to end delivery, that in this transport layer we will ensure that this is the this is actually the process to process communication. You can understood by this fact. Suppose two computers are connected through internet, connected through internet, and you have opened several tabs on your computer on some in some tab you have opened Gmail, in another one you have opened Facebook or other things. Similarly, at the other end also. So, which process which port want to communicate with which one, that is the message must go to the intended one. For example, if you are using you are sending some mail, then it must reach to the Gmail account of the other users in that port. So, this is process to process communication, and second issue is addressing. So, addressing here as in data link layer there is a the nodes are connected through link, and in network layer also we send the message end to end, host to host delivery, which is connected through internet, actually which is connected through internet. But here we are sending the message from process to process. So, another level of addressing is required here apart from network layer or data link layer, and such as in network layer you have used the address this address IP address, for example, this one it has been shown here IP address, and port number here what we have said earlier, that several you can open several tabs. So, we assign some port address to that process to process communication. So, port address we assign some port address to that one, and INA defined some range for this port number from 0 to 1023. This is the well known port number, and from 10242 to 41951, this is registered port number, and then a dynamic port number from 49152 to 65535. These are the dynamic port number. So, from 0 to 1023 such as simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP, STTP, hypertext transfer protocol, several other transfer protocol which are well known are coming to from 0 to assigned the number between 0 to 1023. So, here for example, this is the address which has been obtained up to the network layer, from which host it is coming to which host, and then this port number suppose 69 has been added into this one, and so in this way we generate the address here in transport layer. Then second aspect of the second functionality of the transport layer is third. In fact, first we have discussed end to end delivery, and then addressing. The third one is reliable delivery. So, at the transport layer, reliable delivery has four aspects. Reliable delivery has four aspects: error control, sequence control, loss control, and duplication control. Error control, sequence control, loss control, and duplication control. What is error control? Suppose you send some message from the sender to receiver, then you want, as well as receiver want, that what message has been sent, that must be received exactly, but it is not always possible due to several reasons. Sometimes some noise has been added into the due to the environment, due to the transmission medium, or maybe some other reason, sometimes maybe some hacker has been hacked it or anything. So, it is not always possible to exactly receive the same message. So, error occurs in such transmissions. So, how to control that error? How to control that error, and what are the possibility of removing that error? So, primary goal of reliability is basically error control. Here error handling is based on error detection and retransmission. Error detection of error, and then retransmitting. If error is detected, then retransmit that packet again. So, basically here we will use checksum method. Through checksum method we will deal the error control method, which have been already discussed in data link layer. Several other methods of error control mechanism has been discussed in data link layer. So, error control is basically being checked and by the checksum method, and then we retransmit the packet. So, one question is ki if we have studied, we already have error handling the at data link layer, then why do we need at the transport layer? Why do we need at the transport layer? So, basically we will discuss it. Here you will see that what we have earlier I have earlier said that in data link layer it is node to node delivery, and in network layer it is from host to host delivery, and in transport layer it is from process to process delivery. So, if some message is being passed from this computer to this node, then in data link layer error is what has been sent from here and what is received here, that is being checked, but what error has been introduced at this router will not be checked. Similarly, what message has been passed from here after this router and what is received here will be checked, but what error has been introduced will not be checked in this router, what will not be checked here. Generally, we will ensure our best that no such error should be introduced, but it occurs due to several reasons, maybe due to some error in software or any other error in hardware, maybe noise. So, in the here in the process to process communication and in node to node, it is the error here in process to process communication, error is checked. Another level of error checking mechanism has been introduced in process to process communication, and error is checked again. So, what error has been introduced if error has been introduced at the router level also, it will check that whether what message has been sent from the receiver sent from the sender is received at the receiver end, or is there any change. If there is any change, then it will send that error has been occurred, and it will ask for retransmitting the packet again. So, this is the basic difference. So, another level of error checking mechanism is available in transport level, and due to this it ensured the reliability. Then second aspect of the reliability implemented at transport layer is sequence control. Sequence control. Actually, as we have seen that in OSI, it is the fourth layer of the OSI model. So, what messages are coming from the upper OSI layers that must be used by the lower OSI layers. So, it is responsible for fragmenting or segmenting, dividing the message into usable blocks that can be used by the lower OSI layers, and that process of dividing the message into lower usable blocks is called segmentation. And similarly, at the receiver end, this transport layer is also responsible that these messages are arranged in a proper order. In which order they had been sent to the receiver, they must be arranged in that order. So, reassembling should be done in a proper way. So, sometimes and another aspect is combine. Sometimes it is possible that suppose network layer is of the size of GBPS, bandwidth of the network is in GBPS, and the user is generating data in MBPS. Then for utilizing the network bandwidth, we can concatenate several such messages and merge it into a single frame and send it over the network layer. That process is called concatenation. So, how to suppose we fragmented it or segmented it into several parts, then at the receiver end how we will arrange it into the required one, in which order they have been they should be arranged, that is decided by the sequence number. So, we will generate sequence numbers, and to each segment we assign some sequence number, and it is increasing in that order. For example, suppose we have started from 1001 and then after 50 bits 1051, then 50 bits again 1000, similarly we will add it into that one. So, according to that sequence number we will arrange it into the proper order. In addition to that, each segment carries a field that indicate whether it is final segment or middle segment with more still to come, whether it is final segment or middle segment with more still to come. So, through this we can know that some other messages are coming, and it is yet it is not complete. So, this is what we have done. Very important aspect, sequence control is very important aspect of the transport layer, and we will discuss this sequence use of sequence number in connection management issue also. So, third aspect of reliable delivery is loss control. So, transport layer ensures that all piece of transmission arrive at the destination, not just some of them, not just some of them, and through sequence number we know that this sequence number is missing. So, we know that this packet is lost, and we request for the retransmission of that packet. So, it can be also actually done by the sequence number. The loss control can be achieved through the sequence number. And then duplication control. Actually, duplication may seem like a trivial problem, but it can have a major consequence. For example, suppose we take an example. Suppose you send a message for transferring the amount of rupees 5,000 to the account of some customer or your friend Y, and if the message is duplicated, then what will happen? Then if bank will consider that it is new message, then it will transmit again, then it will transmit again, again the transaction will happen, and 10,000 rupees will be cutted. So, a very important issue is that the duplication control must be there, and that has been also is controlled by the being controlled by the sequence number. So, some number has been already, if it has been already occurred, then it know that this number is occurred, and this is the duplicate number. Similarly, in loss control, suppose if want some example, suppose you have sent two such messages. In one, suppose you have said that transfer this amount from the account of X to account of Y, and second message is then transfer the amount of X to the amount of Z to the account of Z. Then if suppose first message is being lost, then what will happen? Then all amount will be transferred to the amount of Z, but you are not intended to that one. So, the loss control is also being dealt very seriously, and that is being controlled by the sequence number. So, as here sequence number allow the receiver to identify and discard duplicate segments. Flow control. Flow control is performed end to end, and basically what is flow control? Suppose at the receiver end there is buffer, and you are sending the message in a higher speed, but it is not able to utilize that one. So, it must send a message to the sender that it slow down, that sender must slow down his speed. So, flow control is performed end to end, and basically sliding window protocol is used. Sliding window protocol is used to make transmission more efficient as well as to control the flow of data. And window at the transport layer can vary in size. Receiver in its acknowledgement packet, can specify that the size of window be increased or decreased also, but in many practical cases it is just increased and or remain constant. And then sliding window actually uses 3 pointers which act as a virtual wall to identify the buffer. 3 pointers to act as a actual wall, virtual wall to identify the buffer. So, left wall, middle wall and right wall. So, left wall when if the acknowledgement data has been packet has been sent and acknowledgement has been also received, then left wall move to the right, and middle wall if packet has been sent, then middle wall move to the right, and the right wall for if is used for maintaining the size of the window. Suppose if left wall has been moved and you have kept, even if you have kept the window size fixed window size, then right wall will move to that amount through which up to this left wall has been moved towards right for maintaining the size of the window. There is a question. Suppose the left edge of sliding window is at the beginning of the byte 201, the size of the window is 500 bytes. If 300 bytes have been sent and no acknowledgement received, so the position of the 3 walls. So, initial was position was 201 and the size of the window is 500 bytes. So, 701 you can say this is the third wall, and if 300 byte has been sent and no acknowledgement received. So, but since 300 sent, so middle wall will be 501, and if suppose if in this question if you will change that 10 acknowledgement has been received, then it will come to 211, and if the size of the window is fixed, then it will come to 711. Similarly, some other questions can be asked, that what is when these 3 walls or when these 2 walls will coincide, that can be answered through this concept. Then another concept is another responsibility of the transport layer is multiplexing. There are 2 types of multiplexing, upward multiplexing and downward multiplexing. In upward multiplexing, several transport layer connection use single network layer connection, and it is as I have already said that when you create a new virtual circuit, then it requires then cost is increases. So, if it is possible, then we can use single network connection, and suppose the network is of the size size of the network is of the size in Gbps bandwidth size, and user is creating data in Mbps, then several transport layer connection can use one network layer connection, and this is known as upward multiplexing. And similarly, in downward multiplexing, for increasing the throughput, we single transport layer connection uses multiple network layer connection. So, we can create multiple such virtual layer, and this is, and then connection management. Connection management here end to end delivery can be accomplished in either of the 2 modes, connection oriented or connectionless. A connection oriented protocol establishes a virtual circuit or pathway through the internet between the sender and the receiver. All of the packets belonging to message are then sent over the same path. Connection oriented transmission actually has 3 stages: connection establishment, data transfer, and then connection termination. These 3 actions are required in establishing a connection, and it is popularly known as 3-way handshake. 3-way handshake. In this way, the computer send the request to the connection request to the intended receiver, then responding computer return a confirmation packet to the requesting computer, and in third stage requesting computer return a packet acknowledging the confirmation, and this is known as 3-way handshake. And similar 3-way handshake process is adopted for connection termination or release. this is the diagram which has been shown. This is the normal case sequence connection request has been generated, and then acknowledgement X from host 2 generated, and sequence number Y generated, and then when it is received to host 1, then it confirm that the acknowledgement Y has been received to it. Acknowledgement Y sequence number X has been received here, and and then in the second one, if this packet is original packet is being lost, then that has been depicted here, and some old duplicate message are there. Then acknowledgement here generated, host 2 generated the acknowledgement X and generated sequence number Y, but host 1 does not acknowledge this because it has generated some new number and it is being lost. So, it rejects the acknowledgement Y. Similar, if both has been lost, acknowledgement and old duplicates message, then that situation has been discussed, shown in this one. And there are basically two types of connection release, symmetric asymmetric release and symmetric release. Asymmetric release, due to asymmetric release there is abrupt disconnection, we can lose some data, and in and second one is that situation has been shown here in abrupt disconnection, and the symmetric releases can be discussed, can be understood by the this two army problem. Here blue army, there are 2 army persons in that one, and in the valley 3 army person. So, they blue army want to attack this white army, but they want to attack in a synchronous way. तो ब्लू आर्मी आपको सपोज करिए कि मैसेज एक आपको अटैक करना चाहती है इस पर, और मान लीजिए उसने फिक्स किया कि 4:30 बजे कल इसको अटैक करना है। तो ये मैसेज जब ब्लू आर्मी 1 पे 2 पे आएगा, ब्लू आर्मी 1 एक मैसेज सेंड किया, ब्लू आर्मी 2 पे जब ये मैसेज आएगा तो ब्लू आर्मी 1 वेट करेगी कि ये मैसेज इसको पहुंच गया कि नहीं पहुंच गया। अगर ब्लू आर्मी 2 पे ये मैसेज पहुंचने के लिए फिर जब उसको पहुंच जाएगा तो ब्लू आर्मी 2 फिर इसको मैसेज करेगी कि यस मैसेज पहुंच गया है। तो लेकिन फिर ब्लू आर्मी 1 जो है इस वेट करेगी ब्लू आर्मी 2 कि ब्लू आर्मी 1 पे जो हमने मैसेज भेजा कि पहुंच गया है, क्या वो पहुंच गया कि नहीं। तो इस तरीके से ये आप देखेंगे कि इसमें 4 वे हैंडशेक भी कर लें या इस तरीके से प्रोसेस करते जाएंगे, बट इस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम में हमेशा ये पॉसिबल नहीं है, और ये प्रोसेस इनलेस प्रोसेस कभी कभी हो जाता है। सो दिस इज़ ड्यू टू दिस वन। सो थैंक यू।